What you were saying.
I'm saying you guys missed the greatest intro to the Joe Hendry Show ever. Honestly,
I honestly think it was.
dude, I'm telling you what, you guys don't know this, and we can't say this. We were given clearance to say it once, and we can't ever say it again. How to revive Aerith in Final Fantasy VII.
We did discuss that.
And honestly, we know how to do it.
We came to the conclusion.
We know how to do it. They told us how to do it, and we could only talk about it once.
Yes,
we just talked about it.
we're under contract.
Basically, so if
Sorry, guys.
if you're listening on the old audio technology, then you'll be confused right now. Jay, let's just I know you're frustrated. Let's just shaking that leg. What happened was we did an amazing, energized intro to the podcast, 8 minutes long, and there was no sound. My fault. My bad. I do apologize. But you know what? I'm still fired up. I'm still energized. Let's do it. I need to get that screen back that we were on. Wait there. I've got to do it. No, I don't have it. I don't have it. Help me. Help me. You do. You get it back. Help me. No, it's not there. It must be on another screen.
See,
this is great if you're listening to the podcast.
Totally
this is
confused.
awesome.
And this is
awesome.
This is why they never ask me to do things.
Yeah.
You know.
So
I'm just good at watching.
So I'm just gonna have to take over here because this does not seem fruitful to me. What Jake is doing, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to what are you doing? What are you doing?
Tab back up.
Yep, it's.
Yep. Well,
Excuse me. 2 seconds. Can I just check one thing? Can I check one thing? Thank you.
It's gone. Oh, it's that one. It's on that one.
There we
That's
go.
what I was looking for.
That's all I wanted to do. If you're listening on the audio, me and Jake are grappling
Mute.
Okay, we're having a disaster here, folks. I do apologize.
This has been
all right, there we go.
The greatest intro
it has.
to any podcast.
Anyway, we're here now. I want to thank the Patreons. I want to thank them because if it wasn't for them, I would not have the courage to continue on this podcast right now. But
we're doing it for them.
Because of the support from the Patreon supporters, I can continue. I will.
Do you think we need to get like from The Simpsons where it's like the do it for her?
Yes.
It's like pictures of Maggie, but it'll be like the Patreon logo.
Do it for them.
But
do it for them.
Do it for them. Do it for them. There you go. I will. But anyway, I want to give a huge shout out to the Patreon supporters. In all seriousness, you guys are amazing. You support us. You keep us going. We're putting out more content than ever, and it's because of your support. You can support us from $1. We've got loads of cool exclusives. We've got exclusive custom Funko Pop action figures. We've got exclusive T-shirts. We've got loads of cool merch you can get your hands on. Exclusives, people, and there's loads of stuff to check out.
Exclusives, man.
Exactly. You can join from $1. So from $1, you can join the prestigious. You can join the prestige.
How much is your coffee every day?
Exactly.
You know?
It starts from $1 a month, people.
Bro.
But anyway, you guys know that if you're a tier 3 patron or above, you get thanked by name. So I want to thank James Malley, Ian Downey, Hate312, Ian Callan-Lees, Tony Madden, Gordon Brown, Adam Secord, Kirsty Bailey, Gunnar, Barbara Good, Adam Wilson, Jennifer Polton, Daniel Bettencourt, Ant191, David McCarthy, Keenan Prophet Holmes. I've started doing it now. I have to keep going. Fiona Edge, Clayton. I don't know why I'm doing a punch.
Because like the audio listener is just going to hear.
But that's
the point.
I know. Where did I get to?
God
You got to start again.
No, I'm not starting again.
We got James Malley, Ian Downey, Heath312, Ian Callan-Lees. We got Tony Madden, Gordon Brown, Adam Secord,
Kirsty Bailey, Gunnar, Barbara Good, Adam Wilson, Jennifer Polton, Daniel Bettencourt, Ant191, David McCarthy, Kieran Prophet Holmes, Fiona Edge, Clayton Davis, Brian Smith, James Pointer, Jordan Schofield, Laura Baird, Mark, Will Ledwith, Mal Callan, Jamie Flood, and Joe's mum. Again, family members, we love you. We love you. But if you want those Patreon exclusives, gotta pay the toll.
Pay up.
Give me the money. Give me the money right now.
No.
Right now.
No.
Pay that money.
No.
Pay that money.
PayPal transfer.
Mum, I'm not messing around.
Pay your digs.
Exactly.
This is what's like if Joe was Jeremy from Peep Show.
Mummy.
Fucky, hurry up.
Oh,
we're already... explicit podcast.
I know. I just hold on to a whisker of
case.
on one episode.
It's
and
not gonna happen.
It always Dave usually just boulders in with the C word by the you do.
Yeah.
Am I quite bad for that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really bad
You
for swearing as well,
you dish out a few C bombs.
Do you know what I used to do? When I was in the car with my dad, I used to go, how long into this journey before he gets road rage at someone? I was like, man, let's see how long he can go. I think the longest he ever went was about 4.5 minutes.
Dude, that sounds genetic. Based on the stories you tell us, that seems genetic.
I've actually been okay. Like, I was going to go rash.
What, for the last week?
I was going to, well, in fairness, Jake, was I not? I was well justified this week in going rage at
I'll
someone.
tell you what. Listen,
Yeah.
oh,
We'll
so
get
you
into
have
that.
right, okay,
Once
so we'll
we've
get into
had
that.
a word from our sponsors.
Exactly, dude. Our sponsors, of course. First up, I want
Chamomile
to thank.
tea for
Now,
the stressful people.
now, let me think, because we. What do we talk about in this podcast? Give me one thing. Come on.
Gaming.
Okay, that's one. What about another one?
Our survey says.
Wrestling. We talked
Dude,
about wrestling.
gaming and wrestling. So almost like grappling and arcading, if you will, as you said earlier on the first attempt.
I did make a good joke that I
You
was
did.
quite proud
Go
of.
for it.
Which was, if you bust out the thesaurus.
Yeah, which we do on the daily, of
and
course.
clearly, Grapple Arcade, they've got that mindset. They're
Exactly.
busting out the thesaurus. They know what they're doing.
They have. But it's almost like they were custom made to sponsor this podcast because Grapple Arcade run retro wrestling video game events around the country with loads of free to enter competitions. There's loads of wrestling prizes on their Twitter page, which their handle is at Grapple Arcade. Twitter.com/Grapple Arcade. Sorry, excuse me. I needed to burp there, and I didn't want to burp during our advertisers'
It makes it more
advert.
authentic.
It does. It is authentic. You know what else is authentic? Their YouTube channel, Grapple
Segue.
Arcade. Now, I want to talk about these URLs for a second, all right? Because I'm thinking if they're called Grapple Arcade, what would make sense for a Twitter handle?
Well-
Maybe arcade.
I recently got all mine the same.
Oh, it always got to be about you, doesn't it?
Do you know what would be
Dave?
good? If
What would
their
be good?
URL was Grapple Arcade. Like
That
would
could
be-
make sense.
That would make perfect
Do we
sense.
know
right?
what their URLs are?
Dude, I think their Twitter handle is. You know what it is? It's Grapple Arcade. Now,
It's
does
Grapple
it,
Arcade.
now, does it make sense for the YouTube to be the same, or should we make that different, or
Well,
what should we?
see, I would think make it the same. That
I
would
think
make the
you
most
might-
sense
dude,
to me.
You know what? And I'm looking at it right now, and it is
No
twitter.com
way.
/Grapple Arcade, youtube.com /Grapple Arcade. They have got their handles
They've
sorted,
got their
people.
stuff in line.
They do. They're organized.
This is how
you know what
they're
else they've
serious
got?
business.
You know what else they've got? They've launched this YouTube channel, youtube.com /Grapple Arcade, and they've got this new show which is called Hey
Hey,
Hey
Hey.
Hey
hey,
Hey Hey Hands off the merchandise. We may have added the haze, okay? It might just be called Hands Off the Merchandise. But in this show, they unbox and review new and retro merchandise, along with interviews from wrestlers around the world. You know what? I'm going to do an interview for them. If
You
they
should.
want, I'm going to offer
Hell
it to
yeah.
them. Because we look after the sponsors. But you know what they look at? You've seen those Hasbros.
I have seen
the
those
old
Hasbros.
classic. You've heard about those Hasbros.
You tried to force them upon me, yes.
I did. I tried to get you into wrestling. But you know what?
Through Hasbros.
Maybe if you'd have had Grapple Arcade, you would have got into wrestling. You know?
Hey,
I think you're right.
You
I think
exactly,
you're right.
and now they're here to help out.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to do
Never
after the
too late.
podcast. You're going to check out Hands Off the Merchandise and see the cool stuff that they review, both new and retro. Also, they've got amazing competitions on the Twitter at Grapple Arcade. Loads of wrestling prizes. I saw one the other day that was for free tickets to. You could win tickets to like one of the UK's biggest ever wrestling conventions. Huge names, and all you had to do was name your favorite wrestler. All you had to do was tag Joe Hendry. That's just there you go.
It's not too
That sounds
difficult.
like the easiest prize of my life.
Silly. There you go. Twitter.com /Grapple Arcade, youtube.com /Grapple Arcade. Next up, we got Beer 52. All right.
The OGs.
How would you like a free case of craft beer?
I would.
Well, as a listener to our show, we'd like to thank you for listening with the help of our friends at Beer 52. Just go to beer52.com /Hendry to claim a free case. Beer 52 is the world's most popular monthly craft beer discovery club, searching out incredible and exclusive small batch craft beers from the world's greatest breweries and bringing them back for their members. There is a whole new world of craft beer out there, and this is your chance to get on board with discovering it. Every month focuses on a new country or theme, and if you sign up now, you'll get the chance to try a free case of beer.
Beer?
It makes sense. As a listener to a show, you could try your first case for free. Just pay the £2.95 postage, so that's 8 incredible craft beers, Ferment magazine, and a snack delivered with free next day shipping. It's a no-brainer. It's without brain. There's no minimum commitment. You can just take the free case, try the beers, and see what you think. And if it's not for you, you can tell them to
piss
because they've got a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. So
But also,
won't
you'd
even need to
never
say that.
tell them to do it.
You would never do that because
You would
we're
never.
polite people,
Exactly.
And they have a great product.
They do.
and they got 5 stars
Exactly.
on Trustpilot.
Yep.
Exactly. There you
can
go.
trust them.
There you
Trust
go.
me.
All
It's
right.
without brain.
It is without brain. I say
No
that all the
brain,
time.
no minimum commitment required. Not a lot required.
What's to think
We're
about?
lagging. I'm just noticing.
You're fucking lagging.
I know. I've noticed that the internet's been a bit, but they have been. Virgin have been saying they've been doing maintenance of the area recently.
That'll be it.
Yeah.
So
Better
for the live viewers, apologies.
Apologies. They're doing
Blame-
maintenance.
Virgin Internet.
Yeah. Bunch of virgins.
Sex jokes. Pip.
Can you imagine when Richard
like-
Branson was like, "Okay, mate,
Okay, maybe funny.
I'm gonna call my, I'm gonna create one of the biggest businesses in the world. Come on, I'm gonna call it Virgin." Can you imagine having to tell his mates?
It's like, Barry, I'm going to name my business after you.
Mate, if you lose this bet, you've got to call your business Virgin.
Wait.
Because that's what you are.
You lost the bet, mate. Your business is going to tank. And then, like, 5 years later, he's just like,
Yeah.
well, shit.
He's like papping out with Virgin Cola. Do you remember that?
Dude, Virgin Cola was the tip.
Yeah,
I remember that. It was great.
I remember that back in the day. They had Virgin everything.
Remember Virgin Mobile? Remember
Yeah.
that
They,
shit?
they still do olive oil, don't they?
Do they?
No, they don't. What?
Ah,
Oh,
I like it. I like it. I like it. Can you imagine? They should have, like, this seems obvious, but they should have done condoms.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I feel like that's an untapped market.
Yeah, that's just like,
because
come
then
on.
why would you need to buy their product?
I know, that's why they went
It's a
out of
one-time
business.
use.
Yeah, they,
Yep, that's it.
well, no, surely it's a no-time use.
Well, I was going to say, what condoms are you buying? Every condom's a one-time use, isn't it?
Well, no, from the brand. You wouldn't get any repeat
Jake's like,
customers.
"Mate, gotta get your money's worth, eh?"
Mate, I've got these reusable condoms, eh? You get at least 3 uses out of them, eh?
It's called a Snickers packet.
Mate, I've not got a journey, but there's this Milky Way wrapper on here, eh? Like, that'll do the job.
Right, let's move on from this because this is some lowbrow shit right here.
I don't know, man. That's why people listen.
Nah, it's about the right.
So
It's
that's
about
why
the right brow.
That's why people listen.
It's about medium brow.
Dude, they're not here for, political analysis.
That's what we're looking for.
And whenever we give that to them, that's when we get the worst the worst stats.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, duh. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I thought we were...
People don't come here for Brexit analysis.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I was just outside, and I witnessed something amazing. I've not told these guys
Go
yet.
for it. Go for it. Yeah, you haven't told us.
So I was
I know, we don't
outside,
know this.
and there's a fairly main road out there. There's a lot of cars going by, and these two Neds, chavs, youths, were walking across the road.
Yobs.
Yobs.
They
What
were.
we used to call them back in the day? Schemies. Do you remember schemies? No?
I don't know.
Bam-
You use that to
bams.
be like a schemy place.
So, like-
it should be a bit bammy. Yeah.
If you ever genuinely call someone a yob, then you've never really experienced life,
Nah.
real life in any way, shape, or
Use
form.
yob.
Ew,
No one
I was
uses that word.
accosted by a bunch of yobs.
You know what I quite like? Reprobate. That's a good word. It's got like a
I do like that.
You're a reprobate. It's a good word. It's got a lot of good sounds in there.
I do use it.
Do you? It's a good word. It's a good word. But continue.
Yes, so they were crossing the road, and a van was coming along, and they were in the middle of the road, and one of them just went, "Hey!" at the van.
Wait, give us some context.
Like there is no context. They were walking across the road. Some van went past them, and they just went, "Hey!" at the window as it passed. Fucking
Stupid.
stupid. They're acting.
They're challenging a van.
Yeah.
How fast can a van
but
go,
they're
guys?
like, why would you do that? Why would you just shout at a van?
Here's some basic physics for you. A van weighs about 2 tons. How much do you weigh?
Well,
Probably-
I don't think people really get run over that much intentionally. You know, a
Well, this guy
day-to-day
sounds like he
basis.
wants to be run over
Well,
intentionally.
And anyway, so they do that, and all of a sudden I hear shouting from the van window, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
Sure, I wasn't driving. Because I would stop for that. If somebody did that in my window, I'd probably
Well,
stop.
all of a sudden the van pulls over.
Oh god.
And this guy gets out. And he just starts walking towards him, and he's screaming abuse at him, and he's just like,
What does this
"What
guy
you
look
doing?
like?
You doing nothing, you dafties! Shut up, you fucking like."
What does this guy look like? Is he like big or?
Not really. It was just some like guy in his 40s.
So he's like an older guy, like
Yeah, and like these two
Dude, he
kids
might
are just like,
he might be a dad.
"Fuck you on about your dafty."
Mate, he might have dad strength. Like, don't underestimate dad strength.
Do you know, I think you always got to think about these situations for how is this going to benefit me? Like, if you're the guy in the van and you're 40, let's say, how old were the kids?
Well, they would have been like, late teens. I would say.
Late teens. So it's like you broke the noses of two. They were actually 15-year-olds. So you've broken the noses of two 15-year-olds, and why? Well, they went my van,
Well, as he's walking towards him, screaming abuse, the two kids are like, "Oh, right, okay. Something's going on here," and you could tell instantly
Did they regret
their
it?
demeanors changed.
Good.
No, they didn't regret it. They were ready to fight.
Oh, nice.
Like they were like starting to get ready to fight, and they're both just shouting at each other. And this guy like starts walking towards them, and there's still a decent amount of length between them. Like nothing's gonna happen at this point. And all of a sudden, like the older guy from the van, who's shouting all this abuse, is telling them that they're gonna do nothing and that they're scared. And he
You'll
just
do
turns
nothing.
around and gets back in his van.
You'll do fucking nothing. Why
And
the
it
hell?
was just the strangest encounter I've ever seen. It's like, why would you start a fight over someone going ha at your van?
Yeah.
And second of all, why would you then antagonize them and then just walk away?
That's what folk do, man. Everyone steps to the line. There's a line, and they step to the line, hoping that the other guy doesn't want to cross it.
Yeah.
See, in that scenario,
But you'll cross it.
here's the scenario. This is what you do.
I'll fucking cross it.
Honestly, in that scenario, what I've found is you stand on the line, stand on it, or cross it, and welcome them over. And 9 times out of 10, they will not come over.
No, that's completely true. I remember that myself from uni, but
Yep.
I'll tell you what. 1 time out of 10, they will cross the line.
That's fine. I'm well equipped if they do.
And I also thought the same. I remember. I'm not going to go into details here, but I remember I got paggered at uni, just paggered to the point where my foot was facing the wrong way
At
around.
uni?
Yeah.
Dude, how old
Yeah.
are
Well,
you?
it wasn't at uni.
No, it wasn't at uni.
But
While
during your
Joe was
uni
at
Basically,
years.
I'm not going to go into details about what happened, but basically, I thought I would just be Superman and get involved. And to be fair, I think I was right to intervene in the situation. I was doing the right thing, but I, thought I was the Rock,
Guys,
and I
screamed at the
did-
guy's van, man. You got to
Well,
stand up for him.
hang on.
No. In that period of your life, you did kind of see yourself as Batman.
I did.
Like
I
you
did.
were like vigilante
But I-
justice
but I-
without like the violence.
But I didn't have any gadgets.
Basically,
No,
yeah,
I
didn't have
there was
any
no,
gadgets.
there was no, bat,
No, there was no gadgets.
utility belt.
So basically, so a situation happened, blah, 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 and I ended up finding myself getting battered by about 3 people.
Tesco
Very
value
badly.
Batman.
Yes, exactly. And it wasn't great. I remember I've had a few moments in my life where I've thought, yeah, I kind of need to reevaluate where I'm at and what's going on. That was one of them. And I had another one sort of actually fairly recently in life. I feel I've matured,
Matured.
I feel I've matured massively in the last 6 months, I would say.
I would agree with that.
I feel like my life has changed for the better.
I think I've matured in a way that I'm now aware when I go too far. Like, not go too far, but like certain things like calling somebody out or like the story I told last week. Hold on. The story I told last week, the first thing that went through my head after it was, I might have been a bit too hard on the guy there. I might have been a bit too aggressive. I might have been... Now, I was justified in my action, I think. But I was like, maybe I need to chill out a little bit more. So I'm becoming
It
more...
happens.
Whereas before, I was more like, nah, fuck that guy. Whereas now I'm kind of like, give them the benefit. And did I not show restraint today?
you did.
I did show
Yes.
restraint today.
The window was rolled down.
It was
What happened?
down,
What happened?
But
I'll let Dave tell because it was quite ridiculous.
So-
it was literally just round the corner.
Oh my
Like,
God.
literally round
Dude,
the corner.
this is literally like, honestly, coming here to do the podcast is literally like driving through one of the towns in GTA
It
with
actually is.
the cheats on where everyone just
Yeah.
attacks you. It's like you go,
Aggressive
yeah,
pedestrians.
you go,
do you remember in San Andreas?
Coatbridge is the aggressive pedestrians.
Do you remember, San Andreas,
cheat.
you had that bounty
Yeah.
on you one where everyone would try and kill you.
You just walk outside the door and there's like people in shorts firing rocket launchers at you.
The Ballast gang are basically coming to get you.
That was the thing. Everyone always had an RPG. Like,
And why not? And in Grand Theft Auto as well.
Just
you
that
know?
old
No, just
granny from
Coatbridge.
down the
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
Just
like,
like,
I moved on to just Coatbridge there, not GTA, obviously.
we should make GTA Coatbridge as like a wee expansion and just have that. Just the random people in vans try to fight yobs on the street.
Yobs.
I mean,
Yobs. I'm
have
using that word
we
from now
talked
on.
about that racing game that was set in Edinburgh that was released recently?
Oh,
What?
Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
It was
Forza
set in
Horizon
Edinburgh?
is set in like
Yeah, one
Scotland,
of the city-
and
it's
you
set
can
in the
go
UK.
into Edinburgh. Like
It's-
Princess Street is modelled. It's really cool.
does it look cool?
Yeah,
It's set in the UK.
Does it kind of give you that nostalgia? You're almost like, whoa.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
so
Are the shops there?
they've not
like-
specific shots, but they've
yeah.
got like the Scott
How
Monument
does my
stuff.
brain work? I just realized that. I'm like, but how will the licensing work? That's what I honestly think about.
They
Like,
got Iceland.
like, yeah, I mean, just some of the things that my brain goes off
Yeah.
and thinks about. Yeah.
Either way, yeah, you should check out the trailer for that. It's
I
really cool.
will check
It's
it
really
out.
cool.
I will
You can
check
drive
it
up Arthur's Seat.
Dude, you can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you can get property and stuff in it. You can get Edinburgh Castle as like a property.
Oh,
in the
that's
game.
cool.
So is it for PC or Xbox?
Xbox, yeah.
It's Forza Horizon.
We're at 0 kilobytes. The internet's gone down,
Oh my god.
and it's back.
It's just-
this is gonna drive.
To be
you
honest,
mad.
the recording itself
Yeah.
will be pristine. So
I'm
unfortunately,
just getting a
like I
bit-
say, there's Virgin are doing their maintenance just now, so the
They're being
internet's a bit
fucking
all over the
virgins.
place.
I just
So
there's nothing wrong with that.
no. If you're
Everyone has different life choices.
that's true.
yes.
Sometimes there aren't choices, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just some poor guy just like, it's no my choice. I'm fucking trying. I ain't good. Tinder's just shit.
Well, isn't that like literally what an incel is? It's involuntary.
Do you know
celibacy.
something? Do you know something? I thought until the other day, I thought an incel was like a secret terrorist organization.
Like a sleeper cell.
Yeah, like so I clicked on a Vice documentary about incels, thinking it was about like,
Oh, okay. That's why you clicked on it.
and I thought it was about like ISIS or something like that. And then I clicked
why
on
are all
it,
these just
and I was like,
fucking
God, I'm
keyboard
like, I'm
warriors
like,
on here,
These
like-
terrorists are just dweebs, man. What is going on?
God. So I'm driving into Coatbridge, and you know that road as you come up.
Speaking of incels,
So I'm driving in the road. I'm driving down the road, and it's the one that's got the national speed limit. It's the 2-lane road as you're coming in, like where all the grassy fields and stuff are. And it's 2 lanes. It's pretty tight, right? There's not really much space.
wait, so you're going past the park on the way here?
It's
basically.
past the park.
Yeah.
Like literally when you start getting to the first houses.
Okay.
It was there.
Right?
That's 60 miles an hour, by the way.
Yeah,
just so you know.
it's national speed limit. So I'm driving up there, and as I'm driving up, there's a van on my side of the road facing me, just parked, blocking the entire
Yeah,
lane.
that's BS.
And I'm like,
you can't be doing that.
I'm sitting there going, what's happened here? Is this guy broken down or what? Because at one point he's had to pull over into my. He's had to pull on against oncoming traffic at some point. And there's a guy sitting at the side of the road, and I'm like, oh man, maybe they're broken down or something. No, it's just 2 old guys having a fucking chat at the side of the road.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, how do I react to this here? What do I do? And my instinct, I put a window down, and it wasn't my window, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was my window.
This is an old dad trick. This is my dad's trick. Was he used to shout out the window on the other side
of the child. So,
So
I'm
I'd
not
be
gonna
sitting
lie,
there-
I really feel uncomfortable when that happens.
Really? So I was.
Well,
sitting
you're
there-
just like,
you're like, go for it, buddy. Throw a punch. And Jake's just like, you all right, mate?
my dad used to do that, right? And my dad, I swear to God, right, this is no joke. And anybody that, like, if my family or anybody listens to this, they'll be able to attest to this. He has the loudest, most booming voice of all time. Of all the people I've ever met in my life, nobody has a louder, more aggressive, booming voice than him. Like, it will blow your eardrums out. No joke, right? And that's what he would do. He would open up. It's normally because the problem would always be on that side. So he's in the driver's seat. He would like, he's got controls, right? The opposite window, and he would just shout through you to the other person. So the other person hears it, but they see your face,
Yeah.
and your eardrum just explodes.
Yeah.
But so I pulled the window down as I'm gonna go round him. So I'm sitting there waiting for obviously the other traffic to pass because I can't move now. He's blocked the entire lane.
Yep.
And as I'm going round, he looks at me, and I'm going like this.
That's fair. That's
yeah,
completely
like,
and
like,
for
the
both
audio
of us
listeners.
were like, what the hell are you
And
doing?
this is what he does. He goes, thumbs up.
Big
just
thumbs
like
up.
smiles and gives me a double thumbs
Yeah.
up, and I'm like, what?
That's an interesting tactic.
I'm like, fuck off.
No, but it's like in his mind, he's just like, it's all good. You can pass now.
And then but you know what? I was gonna yell, but I didn't. I didn't shout.
What did you do?
I just drove on.
Yeah,
I just
what?
what? Shut up.
I just drove on. I thought, you know what? It's not worth it.
Nah.
I
think,
do it the other day
to be
too.
honest, Dave, I think it's more because if you stopped, you would have then blocked the other lane of traffic.
Exactly.
Ah.
It wasn't possible
Well,
to stop
normally
and
you
fight
don't
this
stop. The
70-year-old
technique is
man.
not to stop. The technique's not to stop. The technique is to do it as you drive past. The drive-by shouting,
so they
that's
can't
what you
catch
do.
you.
The drive-by yelling, that's what you do. It's
There
the
you
whole
go.
like, it's like, fatty! As you drive past. That's the technique.
Funny.
That's the technique. You know?
Do you know what? I could just see that being like an internet meme.
Or I
Just
go-
like close up of Dave's face. Actually, Ginger Pimpernel's watching. You know that could
Or I'll
happen.
go-
That could be one for wrestling with no context. Just literally Dave just going funny.
Or I'll go, the main one is just like arsehole. So you just call someone, you shout arsehole at them. So you just literally, as they're driving past, it's normally as they're like pulling off somewhere, you just go, and I'll go past the mic as an effect. You literally just be like, arsehole! As they're
I love how you say you go past the mic and it's like eardrums destroyed.
It's
You're
like,
just
but then they just hear
right
that,
into
and
the
then by
mic.
the time they hear it, it's like it's too late.
too
They can't,
late, yeah.
they can't do anything, and you're like, I won.
To be honest, the spike in the audio wasn't that bad. I
No,
was
it wasn't.
expecting it to be
I
maxed
flew
out.
That's
past.
true. That's
I
true.
was excited to see like
That
just
was
a
quite
big
quiet for me. I could
Yeah.
like, you've been in the car when I've yelled at somebody, remember?
Yes.
And I was loud as fuck, man. Like I've tried to over time because I said this is funny. I said this about you, Joe, when you first when you first got Gromit, and you had to have that authoritative voice
Yep.
when you're like, and it's like you're finding it. Yeah, like people that don't normally have to. Yeah,
Chill.
like people that don't have to shout normally in their day-to-day life, or don't normally have to do that stuff.
I need to go a bit closer to the mic, buddy.
Don't have that voice. They don't have that like authoritative voice.
You carry on.
Like it's funny that you can see when people try and develop it. I developed it from a young age, and I always tried to develop it because I had to try and like if I would argue with my dad or something, I'd have to like, you know.
Well, that was your first mistake. From
Well,
everything you've told me about your dad, you should just
Yeah.
never have argued with
Well,
him.
this is the thing. His point was always, well, the louder I go, the better I'm going to win this argument. So I was like, well, I need to get louder. I need to get louder.
I
And
really
that's-
hate when that happens in arguments. It's just like both of you getting louder and louder. It's like this isn't accomplishing anything.
No,
Wait, Dave, I think your mic's facing the wrong way.
no, the little thing's there.
No, yeah, the logo is there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Something's up, bruh.
Something's up. Maybe I broke it when I yelled.
Is it plugged in?
It is, yeah.
It's just like
Wouldn't surprise me after the start of this podcast.
I know I was going to say we're not having a great time, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm getting audio through. You can see it there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Turned you up, like,
Sweet.
massively.
All right, hopefully it's all
um,
good now.
We'll figure it out.
Let us know in the chat.
But yeah, and then obviously when you do like security and stuff,
Does
you have to.
Dave sound weird? Let us know. And I mean like
Well,
on this pod.
not
Not in
generally.
general, because
Not in general.
you
Don't
know.
be mean.
Because
You
you
know.
know, but
Don't-
you know.
you know.
You know.
It's okay, guys. I'm
You know.
I can accept that. I'm comfortable with who I am.
I am what I am.
But
I remember that from being like an advert or something. Carry on.
when you do security, you have to be authoritative. Otherwise, like if you give a slight hint that you've not got the control, you're pumped.
I know you showed that in Free Agent, man.
You're absolutely
In
pumped.
the Greg's episode.
Yeah,
you
but
showed that.
you gotta
Was
do
that
it.
episode 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
episode
I was
4.
taking
I
no
think
pish from those Greg's folks.
I know. I think that might be one of the best episodes.
I would agree.
It's
I
a
don't know,
very.
man. I think the
People say it's getting better with age.
yeah,
actually,
I think so.
I think
can't
it
remember
is.
what episode it was.
it's kind
The
of
one before Blackpool, maybe that I thought was the best. My opinion.
the Harry Potter one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of changing format. Like it's kind of gone from like before. It's a tough thing. It's gone to mode of a kind of sitcom style.
Yeah.
In that it's like we're not just going like with the jokes. It's kind of
Yeah.
like there's storylines going on and stuff like that.
developing
If anyone
characters.
doesn't know what we're talking about, we are talking about Free Agent, which is on youtube.com/Joe Hendry. So here we go. So Ginger Pimpernel says, "Don't tell me if I'm right because spoilers, obviously, but I am like 84% sure that Free Agent is going to end with Dave murdering Steve Linsky." Well, there you'll actually we might
No
see-
comment.
No comment.
No
comment.
comment.
No comment. But here's the thing: like I think people don't realize that. Like
I mean, it's not that I've not got it in me. You know,
he's-
like
I know. Didn't he say
So
it? Didn't he?
we know.
What you trying to say, like?
Yeah, we know.
What
We
you
know.
trying to say, like?
But like, it's a very hard thing to basically write. Like, I mean, the latest episodes, like almost 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's like, so to produce like quality entertainment every single week within a short, like the filming's basically done. Like today, Gromit's having to go to the vet, unfortunately, after this. So once the podcast's done, we've got probably 40 minutes to get everything shot. And then I'll go do the cameo tomorrow. And then I'll edit that bad boy up. And then we'll get that out.
The flying fuck is going on with your neighbours, man? I feel
I
like
know,
they
man.
get broken into or something at some
Oh,
point.
they've just got like 50 trampolines.
I know, there's like a fucking dancing about like a fairy elephant, man. Jesus Christ.
The room, like the whole house, just shakes.
I know. What the hell's going on?
I understand your rage.
Oh no, but dude, I'm chilled. This is nothing compared to what it used to be like. Nothing.
You're literally just, it's just
Oh,
in Joe's brain,
man.
it's just waves and like
Yeah, dude.
beaches.
No. Right now I'm chilled. The neighbors are. I genuinely thought that.
That's probably the same van
Dude,
from
there's
earlier.
the same van. He's just like, Fanny!
And I didn't get picked up
Yeah.
on the mic. A
Yeah.
massive beep just went off on the road.
Well, I remember my favorite was downstairs. Like the one time they were just screaming. And I'm going to keep my voice down here because I can't be arsed with any more conflict, right? But exactly.
Raise your voice.
I know. But I went downstairs, right, one time and I had to go look. It sounds, what's going on down here? It's just, it's late at night or blah, blah. And you know what the answer was? Oh, sorry, she just put, no, there was just loads of noise because she just put Coca-Cola in her water gun. I swear to God. Swear to God, that was the excuse. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, of course, we've all been there.
Yeah, who hasn't been
there?
there?
I know.
God,
I mean, I remember having a Pepsi Super Soaker back in my day.
One day you're a virgin, the next it's firing the Coca-Cola out the water gun.
I know. Oh, I remember my cousin had Lilt in his machine gun.
Mate, when you get the Dr. Pepper and the Super Soaker,
I know.
mate,
I've got a big
shit's going down.
Fanta rocket launcher myself.
It's like paintballs, but they're just pure Sprite.
Mate, did I get the Tango grenades, mate?
Mate, you're hit.
Tango
You're hit.
grenades.
You're absolutely so. No, mate, I just pissed myself.
Nah, mate, I've checked the register. You know what? I like that Tango grenades. Man. But yeah, that was one of the excuses we were presented with one time. That was
What
a
did you say
personal
to that?
favorite.
Because I'd have just been like,
I just like, but you know what? My favorite one was like in the background. It was like comes to the door, and it's like someone else comes to the door. It's like, oh well, didn't you have I got him because it wasn't that with you? And the thing is, because they know I'm a wrestler, right? I'll tell you a story as well, right?
Go for it, go for it.
So it comes to the door, and someone else comes up and goes, aye, well, it wasn't that when you were upstairs with the weights. And it was like, what? And it's like, I think in their head they just thought, wrestler, weights.
Do you work out here?
No. Well, I think they must have just gone,
weight set?
no, I think they must have just gone, that's how we'll get them.
kid, what he's got in that house? He's obviously got weights in the house.
I know. But my favourite was like, oh, you wrestling at the weekend? And it's like, aye. And she just went, SummerSlam?
Well, she's.
It's just like the way you put it. Just for those that didn't see that, he just like made a motion of like smoking a cigarette. It's just like Big Daddy in that, eh?
Yeah. So
At least she's trying to get something.
I know. I'm being
Mate,
a dick now.
Mate,
I'm
I
being a
care
dick.
all about the wrestling, mate. I care all about the wrestling in that, eh?
I
Hulk
know.
Hogan in that, eh?
Speaking of which, we should probably discuss WrestleMania a little bit.
One of the, yeah,
There's
I about
now
Mania.
what I want to do personally. One of the tiles is falling off the wall.
Yeah,
Oh,
dun,
my
dun,
God.
dun.
But what I want to do is I don't want to be critical of any matches personally and the reason is because we're not on WrestleMania. So I think I don't think it's a good look for us to be criticizing anything. So
Yeah.
what I would like to do
Talk about the being
is
enjoyed.
yes, I think I would like to pick a few matches to discuss that I thought were overall. What I do want to say is I thought it was one of the best WrestleManias of the. I can't think of a better WrestleMania in modern years, in recent years.
Think, like, you know what? I was surprised at how well the show was paced, despite how much was booked on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a long show. Like, it's a very long show.
I honestly, I think it's the most I've enjoyed a WrestleMania in probably about, I think since like, because for me, like, this is, I think, just before I started wrestling, the first time The Rock faced John Cena, that was just like, as a fan, that was something that I never thought would happen, you know. So I remember at that time thinking, this is amazing, you know. I thought 30 was quite strong. I thought 30 was strong, 30, especially the opener. I thought, like, I just really like really kind of logical, story driven singles matches. Like, I liked, so 30, I really liked Triple H Daniel Bryan. That was my favorite match of the card.
Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant match. I almost feel like that should have been the main, like.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But again, you know, it's we're not running $1 billion company.
It's a good
so
point.
yeah, it's
we're
like
allowed our opinions.
Oh no, I know that. I just, to be honest, I don't want to be criticizing. Just me personally, I don't want to be criticizing WWE. I don't think it's a very good look for me. So I think the best thing to do is to pick the stuff that we did enjoy. And for me, there's a few matches that I want to discuss it for myself. Feel free to bring up a few for yourself. The ones I really want to talk about are, and apologies, Jake, I know you're not a huge wrestling fan. We will discuss, but we won't stay on it for a huge amount of time. But you do understand it's WrestleMania. You get it. You get it.
Everything apart.
I have a couple questions about it.
Okay, so Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar is what I want to talk about, and actually Miz versus Shane McMahon as well.
Yeah,
is something I want to talk about, and here's why. So, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. I felt like several matches on this card were showcased almost a directional change in WWE's programming, in my opinion. Okay. Because what I noticed was, again, in Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, there weren't a million finishers and all that. It was literally like, it was like a story. It was like, it was beginning, middle, and end. It just was a much simpler structure, which is, I'm a big fan of that. I think, don't get me wrong, there's a place for loads of kind of back and forth finishers and stuff like that. But for me, I just really liked, you know, Brock Lesnar. And again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Mania yet, switch off now or skip 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of, you know, Brock Lesnar jumps him at the start. It was chaotic. And I think that the fact that the match just came out of nowhere, Paul Heyman comes out. You remember when you started SmackDown 2 and there was a quote from Jim Ross. It goes, "This is proof that anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation." And that quote makes me think that's what wrestling should be, the thought that anything could happen. So I like the fact that Heyman comes out, starts the match, Brock Lesnar jumps him, and then Seth Rollins, as the good guy, hits the low blow, the curb stomps into the finish. That's what it needed to be. I loved it. I
like that they're blurring the lines and they're kind of using those gray areas again, because, you know, the way that you're taught when it comes to pro wrestling is, low blows, or that's not what the good guy would do. But in reality, you're facing a guy that's been undefeated. He's the beast, right? And the only weakness in his game is the low blow. So it's like, well, logically, story-wise, it would make sense to use that. What I did enjoy about that, and also another match on the card that I really enjoyed, was the Samoa Joe Rey Mysterio match.
See, I have to confess, I was actually at the gym while it was going on.
Yeah.
So I was kind of watching in between sets for some of it. So I need to sit down and watch it all start to finish. Like I've seen in the comments, they're talking about Kofi versus Bryan, which again, I only kind of saw the highlights.
That was really good. That was brilliant.
So, sorry, carry on. You were saying Rey Mysterio.
One of the things I liked about both those matches were the length of them. And this is where people will criticize. I think one of the people were criticizing the length of the Samoa Joe Rey Mysterio match particularly. But one thing, so as far as I'm aware, Rey Mysterio is injured at the moment.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, which is why the match was cut short. But one of the things I really enjoyed was that it's just in and snappy and quick. The reason I like that is because it's realistic. It could happen. In MMA, you see it all the time where guys go to fight and the guy gets knocked out in the first round, and it's like, oh, that was a big main event that was built up. But that's the thing. You're like, oh, shit. It takes you off guard because you're like, well, anything could happen.
Yes.
When you go in there with the expectation of, well, this is obviously Mania. It's going to be a 10, 12, 15-minute kind of back and forth. And then Samoa Joe comes out and goes ham, puts in that cookie to clutch and immediately beats Mysterio. Well, you're like, oh, shit. You're like, not only does he look like a badass, but that is realistic. It could happen.
The other thing as well is it creates memorable moments when that happens. Like, so for example, if matches don't end really quickly every so often, then you'll never believe anything that happens before the finish isn't believable. So if you look at, for example, one of the most memorable, I think one of the smartest booked matches that I can think of is, do you remember when Sheamus and Daniel Bryan had the title match at WrestleMania?
I do.
And they didn't have a lot of time. I know what they did is literally just like, Daniel Bryan turns around. Was it AJ Lee that he was paired with at the time?
Yes.
Goes around, kisses AJ Lee, turns around, Sheamus boots him in the face, 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, it's like, that's more memorable than if you've got 5 minutes. You know, everyone still talks about that moment. So everyone knows about that moment. So I think it makes it more memorable if it happens every so often.
Agreed, yeah. One of the things I really enjoyed, and I don't know who done this backstage, but whoever done this deserves a medal. They used the arm, but they did it once. And I thought that was brilliant because it showcases exactly what needs to be shown. You know, we're past the days of doing the 3-arm thing, but then they weren't doing it at all. And now someone's decided, no, we're bringing it back, but we're doing it once. And they did it once with... They did it once, I believe, in the Kofi match where he kept the arm up, but they did it once in the Mysterio Samoa Joe match where he drops the arm and then it's like, it's done.
Yep.
And I thought that was brilliant because I was like, that's realistic. People who have seen real fighting or seen real competition and then see that will go, well, that looks realistic. He put in the Coquita clutch, Rey Mysterio's arm goes down, it's like, oh, he's out immediately, and it's like, done. I thought that made Samoa Joe look like an absolute beast. I thought it made him look very dangerous, and it made him look like, you know, it made him look great. I don't think it harmed Mysterio in any way. I think people are quick to look at that and go, oh, well, that harmed him and whatever. Nah. You know, these things, it's the same thing as MMA. It happens. You know, you go in, you'll get beat quick. Sometimes it happens. And if Rey Mysterio's injured, I think they did the absolute best with what they had at the time.
Absolutely. The other thing I want to talk about is the Miz and Shane McMahon match. Have you had a chance to watch that yet?
I've watched bits and pieces. You were really loving that.
I loved it. I loved it, and the reason was I thought the start of the match was very clever. How Shane tried to outsmart the Miz, couldn't do it. The Miz was keeping up with him, but then the Miz used the emotional angle of messing with Miz's dad, which caused the Miz to make the mistake. Shane,
great story.
starts to take over, and then literally they just built to this one incredible moment where they just get suplexed off the top, and Shane, by complete accident, lands in a pinning position on top of Miz. And I remember watching it at the time, seeing Shane covering the Miz and thinking that's technically a pin, and the ref comes over 1, 2, 3, and it's perfect because now moving forward Shane can be like, well, I beat the Miz by myself fair and square.
You know,
because technically it's true.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
I've used that same sort of angle in matches as well, where the two equals and it's like this is going back and forth, and then boom, one guy gets the quick win. I think they had a finish like that years ago. Austin and Triple H, where they both hit each other with a weapon at the same time, and then Triple H lands on Austin and gets the pin, and it's like...
I think they did that with Triple H and Shawn Michaels as well, actually, when Triple H defended the title.
Possibly, SummerSlam 2002 or something, maybe.
No, I think it was in our Royal Rumble, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a match before Mania. I think it was before leading... Anyway, I think it was a pay-per-view match before their triple threat at WrestleMania.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Where basically, like... it was a double pin they did. I can't remember if it was Raw or a pay-per-view, but they did a double pin where Shawn Michaels was draped over him. So he's pinning Triple H, but Shawn Michaels' shoulders are down as well.
What's crazy, what I really enjoyed about it was the emphasis on, again, storytelling in a lot of the matches. So there was a good... Obviously, not every match had it, but the matches that did have it, to me, stood out. The ones that had the storytelling, had something to invest you in, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was an investment in there. And that, again, that's one of them. That's one of the things I really enjoy. It's one of the things I really like.
Sorry, I'm just going to try and fix your mic. Your mic is very quiet just now. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it seems to be doing all right. But, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed, is anytime that you can get that story, anytime that you can get things... Again, and I'll bring up another match that I actually enjoyed. A lot of people criticised it also, but I enjoyed the story behind it was Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin, where... And the idea behind it is, to me anyway, the way I interpret it, I don't know if this was the interpretation that they were looking for, but immediately as the match was going on, I appreciated the fact that Kurt Angle's desire to entertain the audience is what cost him the match. You know, he goes up there and he does the moonsault. Now, Kurt Angle, obviously, his body, it's not the same, it's not the way it was, you know, in his prime. But he's still able to entertain the people. He still has that desire to do that. And the fact that he goes for the moonsault, misses the moonsault, Corbin gets the pin on him from that. That to me was like Angle's desire to still be that guy is what cost him the match. And ultimately his farewell match. And I loved that And again, people were a bit like, oh well, we're not happy that it's Corbin. It's like at the end of the day, he's going to be able to take that win and go somewhere with it, which is it's the pro wrestling way of doing it.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes
it's the old school way.
Yeah, if you're good, you need to use that to build something. I mean, there were a lot of people that weren't happy that I got my match with Kurt Angle, but look what it did for my career. It elevates you to the next level.
My favorite retirement of all time is Stone Cold, because he retires, he goes out on his back, he retires, and he hasn't come back. He hasn't done the comeback match. He's left and he's stayed away and he's done it right. He went out on his back the way that it should be, and I like that. I think that's the way it is. And Kurt, and then comes out the next night on Raw and puts over another guy from NXT, Lars Sullivan, who came out and looked like a monster, by the way. Can I just say, he actually looks unbelievable, that guy. He's got a presence about him. He's got size. I think he's going to be something. I really do think he's going to be something, Lars Sullivan. And Kurt Angle, gets attacked by Lars Sullivan. So Kurt Angle, honestly, I'm telling you what, man, if people don't put Kurt Angle in their top 5 of all time, I don't know what they're talking about. Kurt Angle is not just in terms of his product he put out there, but the kind of guy he is. For him to go,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
No, I'm doing my farewell.
I can speak to that on a personal level.
Yeah.
Kurt just, when I worked with him, it was just whatever could be done. Like, he just wants to help others. He wants to put others over. He's the
business needs more guys like that.
He is, and you'll often find that. I've actually encountered that this week. Again, I'm not going to go into details just now, but I think about. I've had a situation recently where someone that I worked with has come out and started throwing my name under the bus on a few podcasts that haven't had a huge amount of traffic, so it hasn't really become a thing yet. I probably will respond to it, and it's kind of unfortunate and disappointing when that happens. But I kind of contrast.
You shout at your van.
But I contrast that with someone like Kurt Angle, who is a way higher level, who is all about helping the younger talent. So I kind of think about that, and I think of all people, Kurt Angle is one of the most unselfish, giving, helpful people that you could ever have in a locker room, and he is at the absolute highest level that you could possibly be at. And I kind of look at that, and that's why it disappoints me when I've worked with somebody who's nowhere near that level. Sure, they might be arguably they're at a higher level of prominence than me, but to just kind of discuss things that shouldn't be discussed, to throw me under the bus and all that. And then I think that's on one side of things, which I will respond to next week. But then you've got someone like Kurt Angle, whose only his main concern is how to help the younger talent.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's somebody who wants to nurture the next level of talent. And I just think,
I can only
hope.
Hope.
That's why I'm so thankful that I got to work with Kurt Angle. Yeah. And that's why it makes, you'll often find that in the business, the people who are at the very top level are the coolest ones, and it's maybe the ones who aren't so comfortable with their position in the business that feel the need to blame everyone else for their shortcomings.
Well, I've been down that road with some folk. We won't go into that, but we've had people who are at. I've had people who are at the entry level in the doorway. Let's put it that way. Who, you try and step through a doorway and they kind of kick you out because they don't want to be pushed out the doorway themselves. They're very nervous about their position and they worry.
Yeah, but someone like Kurt Angle is such a professional, is one of the best of all time, and is always thinking, how can I make a contribution to the business?
I can only hope, for the sake of the younger talent, that he visits regularly at the Performance Center. Because I tell you what, man, not only is physically, as a worker and as a performer, but just the knowledge that he's gonna have. You think about the names that he was around. He's he's one of the last of the top tier in the business, from that era. Austin, Triple H, The Rock, Taker, he's one of the last ones that was working regularly, dude. I think he was the last one of that era that was working a full schedule, or at least working regularly, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I can't imagine the knowledge that he's picked up over the years that he could pass on. I'll tell you what, it's one thing for pro wrestling. It's one thing to look and go, there's loads of information out there, but back in the day it was always, I'll chat to the people that have been around, chat to the vets. Now it's the Performance Center, you've got guys you got Triple H there, you got Shawn Michaels, Robbie Brookside, Johnny Moss, you've got shot. You could have again a Kurt Angle. The names of people that are at the Performance Center now, giving back their time and giving their knowledge down to the up and comers today. It's unbelievable the amount of knowledge and the amount of support that's accessible at that high level. It's brilliant.
Indeed.
Honestly, wrestling's going in a.
Yeah, I kind of like the direction it's about to go in.
I like the direction that the training is going. The business itself is going in a slightly different direction, but the actual way up and the people that are there to support you along the way, as someone that had very, very minimal support at the beginning, I appreciate that at that high level, there's nothing but support. It's great to see.
So, Jake, you were going to say you had a question.
I was just wondering, because I know that quite a few people were talk about the runtime of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
How long does it usually go on for?
Well, back in the day, it was 3 or 4 hours, something like that.
4 hours was kind of if it was 4 hours, you're like, oh man, this is a big show. 4 hours was holy crap. I think even WrestleMania 20, 25, 26 were about 4 hours. 4 hours was considered really long. This year was 8.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of time.
This is the one thing that's concerned me. And I am gonna talk about this. And again, it's not criticism, but people were arguing that the main event, people were tired. And I hope, because I actually think that those 3 women are 3 of the best things to have happened to women's wrestling in a long time. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. Let's put it this way. Ronda Rousey came in and she has honestly hit the ground running. It's just an absolute natural. I can't get over it. She probably has had the best rookie year in the history of the business.
Yeah, I think so.
The only people that even slightly rival her are Kurt Angle and Lesnar.
Her match with the match she had with Charlotte recently, the singles match on pay-per-view, was unbelievable.
Brilliant. She's just a natural. Charlotte Flair.
She's so athletic.
People can
She's
claim
so
what they
athletic.
want. Oh, she's Ric Flair's daughter. I'll tell you what right now. She might be Ric Flair's daughter, but I'll tell you what, she is made for the business. Look at her presence, look at the way, her body language, the way she talks, the way she can command the mic. Specifically, I just want to call out specifically Charlotte and Becky Lynch recently for their performances on the mic. Unbelievable. They've drawn me in more than anybody on the roster.
I want to point out as well that, I don't know if you heard, but Ric Flair actually came out and said that he was so proud and impressed of Charlotte that he said, Charlotte Flair's no longer my daughter, I'm Charlotte Flair's father.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I
That's pretty cool. That's a nice touch. That's a nice touch.
So those 3, I honestly think that, and again, Becky Lynch is someone that's, I think people love Becky Lynch because it's authentic. It feels real. She's someone that's been around for a while. She's worked hard, and all of a sudden, people were getting the idea or people were getting the feeling that she wasn't being used as to her full potential.
Can I just double check? I'm just noticing the volume. Did you change the volume of the mic here?
No,
Something's going on with the sound. I'm going to investigate what it is, folks, but there is something up with the sound. I don't know what it is. I'll look into it for next week, but
yeah.
I actually haven't changed anything, but for some reason the volumes are coming out kind of weird. Let me just test this 2 seconds. This mic is way quieter. I don't know what the reason is for that. 1 2 1 2. It just is.
Maybe I'm just softer spoken this week, man.
No, because when I talk here, look at that. It goes into the yellow. But there you go.
Well, when I talk in this mic, see, this mic is doing it as well. I'm
you're
talking directly
really loud,
into this
Joe.
mic.
Maybe you're just
1 2.
loud.
Yeah, but you're talking about this volume if you do that, whereas I usually go to the mic like this. So if I end up talking like that, it goes into the yellow.
Well, so
anyway, carry on.
So basically, what I hope that people look at this and don't. I hope people look at the main event of Mania and don't look at it as the crowd weren't into it. The crowd were quite clearly tired. They'd been sitting for 8 hours. I honestly think that those 3 ladies are unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think that, you know what, I really appreciated? I really appreciated the pace of the triple threat. Because most triple threats, right, and we've worked triple threat matches before, right? And what's the first thing you tend to do in the triple threat? It's, how can we bin somebody so that 2 guys can work and then bin the other guy? And then it's always kind of that. Right? You always try and think of ways that you can kind of keep things flowing. The number of times I saw someone so I would see, I think Ronda was the first one to get what you'd call shit canned. So it's like, oh, she's outside. Right? Boom, she's outside. People are like, oh, Ronda's down for a bit. Oh well. Then immediately, like 10 seconds later, she's back in, and I was like, holy shit! Like, they are keeping this pace up.
Yeah.
You know, they were working their asses off. That match was what, 15, 20 minutes.
Again,
Easily.
I need to. Again, like I said, I was at the gym when it was going on.
Yeah.
I need to. I need to watch it all again.
And I'll tell you what, right now, folks. I'm a really good athlete. I take care of myself. I work hard. I do a lot of cardio. To go 15, 20 minutes hard pace in a wrestling ring is not easy. I'll tell you what, right now, it is hard as shit. It's one of the hardest things you can do. Especially when you're because you're not just looking out for your safety, you're looking out for the safety of the people you're in with. So for them to do that, mighty impressive, I have to say. And I do hope that the people that were looking at that see it for what it was instead of seeing it for how a crowd may have responded to it due to tiredness. Because 8 hours is a long time.
Well, again, it's a weird one because it's like, again, there's a kind of magician's circle, isn't there? It's like you don't want to go too far into it, but like, I think you've made the point well. Overall, I thought the show was a great WrestleMania. It was really, like, it kind of made me step back into that fan perspective again. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, but we're almost approaching the end of the podcast here. So anything else you want to talk about, guys, before we wrap this bad boy up?
There's one thing I do want to touch. I tell you, what do you have anything, Jake? I feel like you've been a little bit absent on this one. You haven't really had a chance to put your input forward.
Nah, it's just didn't watch WrestleMania, so
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, there's one thing I do want to touch on, and this is it's what's recently came out in the MMA world is TJ Dillashaw. Did you see this?
I did see this, but to be honest, I just don't know how much that kind of translates to our audience. We'll cover it very briefly.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed, man. I'm a wee bit disappointed.
Basically, for those who don't know, TJ Dillashaw has tested positive for EPO. Which is no surprise to me, to be honest with you.
It's not even slightly that can become, apparently from what I've been researching, it's not something that can be in a tainted supplement.
No, it's not. You have to
be injected, yeah.
You have to knowingly to do that.
It's a little bit upset.
But to be honest, TJ Dillashaw has always struck me as the type of person that will do anything to win at any cost. But again, it's like, I don't really know what I can add to that in terms of commentary. It's just that he chose to do that. He got caught. It is what it is. It's like it doesn't surprise me though. He strikes me as that type of individual.
I'll tell you what we can talk about that crosses over with WrestleMania. Did you see Conor McGregor's tweet about Mania?
I did not see. What did he say?
So he's putting over like Rover. He's like, congrats to Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. Amazing. He's like. He basically called out Stephanie McMahon was like, hey, you're right, I couldn't do what these guys do. Or could I? And I was like, what are your thoughts? Who's Conor McGregor?
I'll be totally honest. As a huge fan, someone who Conor McGregor's constantly inspired me, I'm very worried. Very, very worried, and I really do not want to get into details here. But there's a lot of stuff flying around right now, and again, you cannot have trial by Twitter. You cannot have. But there's a lot of stuff flying around right now. There's investigations, and all I can say is for all parties involved, that I just hope what's being said isn't true. That's what I'm saying. Because like Conor McGregor to me was like, he was my hero there's a few people that I just really look up to and get inspired by, and he, for me it was The Rock, it was Chael Sonnen, it's Conor McGregor, it's Gary V, it's Kurt Angle, but I think there's even if that is just because the thing is, it's like we don't know the facts, we know no facts, so I don't even want to get into that. But what I will say is, let's just even put that to the side and let's just not discuss that until the facts are clear. What I will say is I really didn't like the comments that he fired towards Khabib Nurmagomedov's wife.
No, I didn't like that.
I thought that was crossing a line.
Yeah, Dave told me about that before I went live.
I thought that was crossing a line, and it's disappointing. Like,
feels a bit like, why?
It's desperation.
Like, yeah, that's what it seems to me. It seems like he's going, okay, I've not really got too much going on right now.
I think it's
how do I get back in the public eye?
But I don't think it's just that. I think that Conor McGregor is, in my opinion, this is what it's that thing. What do they say again? It's like if you're the good guy long enough to watch yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
What's the quote?
It's Batman.
It's the Batman one where it's just like you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become
I
the
honestly
villain.
think that's what's happened with Conor McGregor. He literally did the unthinkable. He did something that was seemingly impossible. He did it. He conquered the world. He won. And he got.
You win the world.
Yeah, he did everything he needed to do. And again, I think it's a case
You have earned
of
the name of Big Boss.
Yeah, I think it's the case that if you try and have everything, you end up with nothing. You know,
Yeah.
I
Flying
think
too close to the sun.
I
Yes.
think he
Old
wanted
Icarus.
too much.
yes, I agree.
He
Like,
should have stuck to, one or two lanes.
well, no, I mean, I understand like the whiskey makes sense and all that.
Oh,
I think-
no, I don't mean that stuff.
yeah.
I mean, like, the fact that, especially if he's now sort of hinting at wanting to go into wrestling as well.
Oh no! See, I think that's a smart move, but I think it's going to be it's not even going to be up for discussion if he's in legal trouble.
It does
Yeah.
remind me of something when you're talking about that, because again, it is happening a lot. One of the other shows that happened recently was Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
I know someone that was involved in that. Killer Cross was on that.
Nice.
Who I worked with at Impact.
What was it? What's
Who
this?
basically it's a kind of MMA sort of
It's like a shoot wrestling
yeah
show.
inspired show, and I just thought, man, I'd have loved to. That would have been.
I would have loved to have been on
perfect
that.
for me.
There's like a
you
mix
know?
of wrestling and MMA.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
So
I
I
remember
would-
there was one for a bit. Tetsujin's shoot style was going
Yeah.
around for a bit, and I would have loved to have done that.
I actually tweeted them, and I was like,
I'd
like,
love to do that.
I tried to get myself booked for Tetsujin. I'm not even gonna lie. I tweeted it, and I was like,
book these guys.
no. Well, I basically said, because the thing is, their whole thing is it's like it's meant to be like a legitimate kind of legitimate shoot style competition. And I was like, I am the current British champion of wrestling, so unless you have me booked, then your tournament's illegitimate.
Heavyweight
Yeah, it's
bronze
not
medalist
legit.
over here, guys. But one of the things that happened was Frank Mir made his pro wrestling debut.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Frank Mir made his pro wrestling debut, and afterwards called out Brock for a death match. Which I
death
thought,
match.
I'm
which I
assuming
thought
this is another
yeah.
UFC fight.
So
Yeah.
he came out and he was like, I couldn't basically end Brock Lesnar's life in the MMA world, so maybe I can do it in pro wrestling. And it's like, what not to say to get to get booked against him?
I want
you know?
to end one of the biggest names in the company.
Well, no, it's more just saying like you
couldn't
want
beat
to
him.
literally kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I want to end
What's
his
wrong with
life.
that,
What was funny was
It's wrong. It's wrong.
I like Frank Mir, man. I really do.
I
Frank
do as
Mir,
well,
But
yeah.
there's a lot of things he's coming out with now are a wee bit weird. Like he was asked about Cormier Lesnar and was like, "What would happen?" And he said,
He's like, I'd better than both.
"No." I remember him saying, "No, it wasn't as bad as that." But I thought he went. What did he say? He was like, "Oh, I feel like Cormier will take it. He'll basically just do exactly what he did to Derek Lewis." And I was like, he was like, "Oh, he'll tire out Brock." And I was like, "Wait a minute. You're talking about a guy that was a former UFC heavyweight champ, a guy that had unbelievable conditioning, was a monster wrestler, versus a guy that, on his self-admitted, I can barely go 3 rounds." And I was like, not really a fair comparison there, Frank. Like, you're kind of discrediting your opinion there by saying that.
But then again, it's like he has been a former UFC heavyweight champion.
It's a very good point.
He's,
Frank
he's,
Mir-
he's earned his opinion.
That's a
He's
good
earned
point.
his opinion.
I'll tell you what, man. I really would. I can't imagine. Like, I know a few folk have trained with him, like jiu-jitsu wise. I can't
was at,
fucking imagine.
He was in Coatbridge.
Yeah.
He went to his squad.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
he's-
fucking imagine the knowledge he's got, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting like a roll with Frank Mir?
Be pretty
Imagine
nuts.
the shit you'd learn.
You can do that. And he does seminars and stuff. You can do it. But anyway, that's all the time we have for this episode. But thank you very much, folks. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate every single bit of support that we get. You know the drill, folks. Patreon.com/Joe Hendry. Go check it out. You can join us from $1 and every little helps. From $1, folks. If you really enjoy this podcast, jump on there and do that. But you know what? If you can't do that, no problem at all. All we ask is go on youtube.com/Joe Hendry and subscribe.
Yes.
Also, there's merch at henryshop.com as well. So, guys, what do you want to push?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dave Conrad UK. It's Dave Conrad UK. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is awesome. I'm loving this. I want it to continue growing. want to continue throwing out good content for you guys.
And you can get me at the Jabicus on Twitter and Twitch. Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Say
the line, Bart.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get
Hit the bell,
video
man.
in your notifications. They've changed something about it, apparently.
Okay, just
Apparently it does something cool now. I don't know.
Just do
I
all the
actually know
stuff.
for myself, but
Well,
I heard someone
just-
on another video say it does something cool now.
To find out, guys, you're just going to have to click it.
You're gonna have to hit
exactly
that bell.
click it. Go for it. All right, see you
Subscribe.
next time, folks. See ya.